real quick, let's just take a trip down memory lane. Best scene of the whole season. Nobody throws drinks like Carmina.
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want to pull my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What,
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Baller Wives. It's season 1, episode 5. Like I said, this is a sit down that we have been waiting for all season. Between Kiafa and Stacy. Stacy has had her baby. Kiafa is actually pregnant. And of course, you know, Kiafa actually has this high risk pregnancy. She don't even need to be all stressed out. You know what? Michael was like so adamant that she actually go and do this and squash this beef and all of this. I didn't know if it was a good idea or not because Stacy is so hell bent on breaking Kiafa that I don't think I'd have sent my wife into that. But you know, whatever. It is what it is. They go, they have to sit down. Right away, you know, Stacy is there for the shit. She wasn't there to make up, really. She really wasn't. She was really there to argue it out and all of that. And Kiafa's snarky. So they were literally going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Real interesting. It was this whole just back and forth thing. And then you have this whole... Well, I didn't say, fuck your mother. I didn't say that. And she didn't. She didn't say, fuck your dead mother. She didn't say that. So I don't know. That's how stories go. You know, once it gets told, things start to get added. What she said was, she hasn't taken her medicine today. She said, your mother hasn't taken her medicine. And she said, my mother's dead, baby. And she said, good. That's what was said. So where the F your mother stuff came from, I don't know where that came from. But whatever. So they actually ended up getting through it. They actually got through that. And Kiafa started to tell, she's like, you know what, this is all crazy. Like, I'm not here trying to fight with you and all this. I mean, they went through this whole thing that she's like, you're a liar and you ain't no real bitch. And this, I mean, it was nasty. It was nasty there for a minute. And Kiafa was saying, you know, those words, she said, those were just words. She said, yeah, well, those words hurt. You know, we're talking about my mother here. My mother's dead and that hurts. And Kiafa started to cry. So Stacy's like, and she was adamant about how she didn't, because she was denying saying any of it, you know. And she was saying, you know what, I don't start crying, you know. And then once Kiafa started crying, Stacy started crying. Then Stacy gets up and goes over to the other side of the table and hugs Kiafa. And she's like, I don't want you crying and all of this kind of carrying on. And she's like, and I'm a mom myself, you know, this, that, thing, and the other. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And I just was like, this is the VH1 thing. You know, when we get to, you know, you at the end of the season because everybody start making up. Okay. Anyway, that was that. Anyway, also in this episode, we actually got Crystal and her mom. Okay. She's sitting on the beach and they're talking. I just did not get it. She got her baby. When Crystal sat there and said that she planned to have this baby with this man, yet she was not married to this man, I was pretty done listening to Crystal. Because at that point, Crystal, you're an idiot. Who plans to have a baby with a man who plays football, but you're not married and there's no plans for marriage? And on that note, we don't need to talk about Crystal anymore because Crystal is an idiot. Moving on. Miko was talking about her husband. talking about him going, it's time for him to go back to work. It's time for him to move back out of town to start, it's football season. And she said, basically that he's useless without her. That when she first met him, he didn't even know how to write a check. This, that thing, and the other. She gonna say, I need to cook for him, and also I gotta beat her to suck his dick. I said, oh, okay, girl, I guess. And I'm just looking at him, and again, Forrest Gump all the way. She said he was useless, and he was just looking useless. And I swear, I said again, I told y'all before, I think that's what the glue that keeps him stuck there with her. She swallows. I believe that's it. I mean, it's just, and then she's 8 years older than him. He does just look like a little kid up underneath her thumb. He don't know what's going on. That little thing don't know whether he's coming or going. Mostly coming, I'm sure. Right down her neck, honey. Anyway, but whatever. It just, they're hard to watch. They're just really weird and strange. There was a scene in there where little Aiden was trying to kung fu the shit out of Miko's ass. I said, look, even the baby knows you need your ass kicked. A mess. Whew, I guess. Then we had some scenes with Julius and little Julius. Okay? And they talked. And they were talking about the whole football thing. And you see that this child really does want to play football. He really wants to play football to the point where he actually, Julius basically laid the law down like, I am in charge of you. I am responsible for you. And I basically am saying that you can't play football. That's just it. I mean, it's like, you're going to thank me later. But he cried. And it was heart-wrenching to sit there and watch that baby cry because he wanted to play football and you're telling me he can't play. Well, Julius broke down later on and ended up buying him a football and all this stuff and told him you could play flag football. And then maybe as we move on, I will move up and let you play tackle. But right now, ain't going to be no tackle. It's just going to be flag. I was glad he did that. I mean, because that was something to see that little boy cry. He cried, and he cried real tears. It wasn't nothing put on. He cried real tears. He really wants to play. And he said he sat down with Kelly and, he's like, I'm not going to be a dream crusher. Please don't. I understand what you're saying, but it's a terrible thing to try to take something away from a child that they really want to do. It was done to me, and it didn't work. It didn't work because eventually all it did was slow up my process because I ended up going and doing what it is that I wanted to do anyway, but it slowed up my process. It screwed up my, the way things should have flowed evenly. And I pretty much, to this day, I still resent, a little bit my mother for that whole period, that I had to work through. It was stupid. It was stupid. And no, you shouldn't do that. And I would never do that to my kids. But anyway, I was glad that he kind of came around. Okay, so Kelly is problematic for me. Okay? Kelly is problematic for me. She is not doing a good job at this bouncing back and forth between the girls. She's not. And the reason is because she's a fake bitch. She's fake and she's phony. And she's chosen a side, but she's swearing that she didn't. She has chosen a side. And the side is Stacy and Miko. Okay? She has become Team Stacy and Miko flat out. She ain't really feeling Asha, and she ain't really feeling Geneva and Kiafa. She has bought in and drank the Kool-Aid. It is what it is. And you know what? It's not that far-fetched because we had her peg wrong. At first, she just ghetto, and she fits in. Her personality is a lot like theirs. She's a backbiter, and I'm just sitting watching her. You're saying one thing, and you're doing a complete another thing. I'm watching her, and I'll stretch out to say, no, she don't really care for Asia, and no, she don't really care for Kiafa. Geneva, I don't think there's a big issue with Geneva, but she don't care for Asia, and she don't care for Kiafa. She doesn't. And I think it's a jealousy thing. I definitely think it's a jealousy thing. Now, where jealousy all falls, I don't know if it's money, looks, status, or what. But it is there, and it is so evident. Tell me if you all see it, or is it just me? Because remember, I liked her in the first episode. After that, she has gone completely downhill for me ever since. Well, the one thing about it I noticed in this last wrap-up, Asha has been paying a whole lot of attention to her. And Asha doesn't trust what she's seeing. That connection with her and Miko, she's not trusting it. And she shouldn't. I said, come on, Asha. Come on, Asha. She got it. They actually sat there, and when they did that little, they did a little podcast. Miko and Kelly did a podcast. It was good. It was about interracial dating and all of that. And then as soon as they were done with that, they go to the table and they start talking. The whole conversation was about Kiafa. Kiafa's not, we don't even see Kiafa that much on the show. But we're always aware of whatever Kiafa's doing because Kiafa's name is always up in their mouth. Miko talks about Kiafa more than she talks about anything else. Kiafa don't need a storyline. Miko is her storyline. And Miko does all the work. She's just stupid. She does all the work. She constantly talks with Kiafa, 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 Kiafa. The whole time. The whole time. Literally, if you pick this show apart, 30 minutes of the show is Miko talking about Kiafa. Then, the last thing that went on in this episode was that Crystal and Emily actually talked out their differences. They talked out their differences, and they basically realized the guy was lying to both of them. We were stupid to be arguing and fighting with each other, and yeah, we just shouldn't have did that. We lost some time. We might could have been cool. And that's what she said. She said, we both were pretty girls, and why wouldn't he lie to both of us to have both of us? It was making him look good. I said, well, that was smart. That was smart. So that was basically all that went on in episode 5. Now, of course, I gave you the whole Kiafa versus Stacy thing. That was actually, it started at the end of 5 and then going into episode 6, which is actually a finale. We're just going to keep on rolling because they literally show, it was a 2-hour show. So I'm not going to do 2 separate videos. We just going to keep on rolling. Okay, so let's talk about episode 6. Okay, so coming from the table of Kiafa and Stacy burying the hatchet, Carmina's name came up. Not so much. Stacy ain't interested in burying the hatchet with Carmina. She's saying, I didn't apologize to Kiafa. Now I want an apology from Carmina. Well, Carmina, I got from the beginning, Carmina ain't interested in doing no apology to you. She threw that shit on you, and she meant to throw that shit on you, and she meant for you to have it. And I'm with Carmina. It is what it is. Ain't no need. I ain't taking it back. You can't unring the bell. Girl, I drenched you with the liquid of life, honey. Liquor. Get on. Ain't no big deal. Whatever. So that's what I took from the table. I said, okay, interesting. In this episode, Julius, Channing, and Asante actually sat down and talked. And they were talking to Asante about this getting banged upside his half-bald head, trying to box and carrying on. And he still just is not listening. He just is knuckleheaded and just still not listening. Even after that, there was another scene where one of their friends was shot in the first day. Geneva and Asante's friends from back home. This guy got shot, and they thought that he was actually dead. And he then cried and everything. He broke him into tears. Is one of his good friends. And they found out more information later. The guy hadn't died, thank God. He actually just had some, he got shot. They did some emergency surgery, and the guy pulled through. And Geneva sat with Asante again and said, you know what? That brought things into perspective. I'm just thinking, things can change in a moment, and you don't be here. And she's like, and it brought me back to this boxing thing. This is crazy. It's not worth it to me to lose you about some money and whatnot that we don't need. He still is a listener. I'm like, Asante, you got to get it together. And I hate to be the one to tell you, you're not as good a boxer as you think you are. That man beat your ass a couple weeks ago when we watched her. Tore your ass up. He hit you, and then you couldn't breathe, and then it was over. I mean, and that's how boxing match will go. If you child, your health don't seem to be up to par for what that is, and you need to let that go before you really get yourself hurt. I understand you like it and all that, but come on now, be real, be real. This is crazy. It's really, really crazy. It is. In this episode, Kelly and Asha actually did have an actual sit down, and Asha talked about her feelings, and she was telling her, do you think that you could actually play that middle role and not get yourself caught up? And she's telling, oh, no, I would not. I'm not a puppet. I know what I'm doing. I'm fine. When I'm over with Miko, Miko doesn't talk about you all. Liar. All Miko does is talk about them, and you talk about them too. That's the part. And see, and the show doesn't have a reunion. I really wanted them to have a reunion, because if they were to see all of the confessionals and stuff, and then, well, when they see the confessionals, they're not going to be friends with Kelly, no way, because Kelly's not a friend. Kelly's a snake. Kelly's a snake. She talked about them on the slide just as bad as Miko. They were called bitches and everything else. And they were talked about in a bad light. And Kelly, you was right there for the ride. Child, that Kelly, she can go. She's trash. Anyway, I like her husband. I like her kids. I don't care for her. She can get on somewhere and go sit down. Okay, so Miko and them, they have their CTE awareness event. So everything's supposed to be so cool. Keofa had a conversation with Carmina. She told Carmina, tonight is the night. You're going to go ahead. Everything's fine. The air's been cleared. I'm going to need you to go ahead and apologize to Stacy. She says, that's fine. If she acts like a lady, I will go and I will apologize, and that's fine. If she doesn't act like a lady, I'm just going to walk away. I knew then, I said, Carmina's not interested in apologizing to her. And I'm telling you, I know the feeling, and I wouldn't even be pressured. Nobody would. If I got heated enough in my feelings for whatever it was that I threw a drink on a bitch, there's nothing you could tell me about apology. I'm not apologizing to her. If I've gotten that far that I laid hands on you, it should have gotten deep. And I ain't apologizing because it make you happy. You're going to be unhappy because I'm not going to apologize. And I don't think that she owes Stacey an apology. I just don't. But whatever. So they end up talking. That conversation went nowhere. Nowhere. Because Carmina, neither one of them, and Carmina wasn't open. Carmina got over to the conversation. She wrong because she got over there and started telling her about why she threw that drink on her. And Stacey immediately fired back naturally. She's like, see, you getting loud and this, that, and the other. She was kind of trying to play a game, but she had it in her mind already. She had this real fancy little thing. She's acting like a queen. Act like a queen. You already got this little comeback just in case things don't go the way you want them to go. You wanted it not to go the way that it was supposed to go. You didn't really want the apology because she said, I got something for this bitch. She said it all in the confessionals. And sure enough, Carmina and her, they kind of butted heads. And then she takes and throws this sucker up in Carmina's chest. Okay, now that's a mistake. Because, bitch, ain't nobody told you to throw nothing at me. And Carmina was better than me because when she threw that sucker in my chest, I would have slapped her whole face. Not part of it, not the side of it. I would have slapped Stacey's whole face. Don't you throw nothing at me, bitch. I'd have smacked her whole face. But she threw that sucker up in her and told her to suck a dick. It was a penis sucker. I might have. But you definitely wouldn't have been able to because your lips would have been swollen because I would have smacked the quantum shit out of you. I said, okay. And Carmina took it. Now, y'all seen that. She took it. She gave her, so she said, so this is what we're doing. Well, whatever. Okay. And she went on and walked away just like she told Keofa she would. And where the problem came in, Stacey then went back over to the table with her little friends and started talking shit. Boom, 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 boom. Now, I understand. I understood where Carmina was at. I'm not getting ready to be up at no function and you sitting over there selling wolf tickets. Talking about, I want to punch her in her face and this, that. I'm not being nowhere and you selling no damn wolf tickets. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then they get over there and they're talking all that shit. And Miko's like, yeah, girl, that's right. I'm so proud of you. You learned to use your words instead. When did she use her words? She threw a sucker in the girl's chest. She stepped out of line. That was out of line. Everybody standing around in gowns. You throwing candy. So as she kept on with that antagonizing and that shit talking, Carmina took the sucker and threw it over there on the floor at her feet. She didn't hit her with it. She threw it over there on the floor. And I didn't have a problem with that. Y'all over there sitting talking shit. Here you go. Threw the sucker. Here's what she's talking about. Threw the sucker. She didn't say a word. She just threw the sucker over there at Stacy's feet. Stacy picked the sucker up and threw it back at Carmina and hit her with it again. And then Stacy proceeded to get loud, start cussing, acting ratchet, as everybody says she was in the beginning. She played right into it. And it actually ended with her throwing drinks and them having to be separated apart. You see everybody walking off of the yacht. Like, what in the hell just happened here, child? What is this ghetto shit, honey? And they want us to donate some money, honey. They up there throwing drinks and gowns and carrying on. And Stacy just proved herself to be exactly what Kiafa and Geneva said she was from the season 1, episode 1. A old ghetto goddamn gutter snipe. Throwing drinks and throwing suckers. She's a mess. She's a mess. And Carmina needed to lay hands on her, but whatever. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I had enough of Miss Stacy, honey. Miss Stacy ain't nothing. She's a hot mess. And it was so funny. Y'all see she reverted back to that same line. She likes that little line. You wish you had a Chris Chambers. Ain't that what got, that's what got it started in the first place. Because she said that to Kiafa when they sit at the table. Girl, don't nobody want Chris. Don't nobody want Chris but you. With his weak ass, always listening to you and all this garbage that you keep going on. And I guess he'll not pay attention and swear that they was bothering you again, right? I guess they'll be back for another season. I wish they had a reunion, I'm telling you. Because them confessionals, I'm telling you, them confessionals will really out Miss Kelly. And we really see a lot about that Chris and, you know, but they seen it all. That Chris, Stacy, and Kelly, them confessionals and that ain't do them no favors. None. Not very likable at all. At all. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this season. It was messy. Messy, 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 and entertaining, I guess. All right, y'all. Later.